we're back. Welcome to the Geriatric Momma podcast. Woo-woo. We are here. I'm with my girl, Claire. How are you doing today? How are you feeling?
Doing great, feeling hungry, ready to roll.
Oh my gosh. So what's the thing that you are really craving or have craved your whole pregnancy? Did you have any cravings?
Yes. So, but now to be fair, I'm not sure if it's just the excuse that I can have cravings, you know? So sometimes I'm like, is this the baby or is it me?
Or is it me?
But I will say all things dairy. Now, I already loved dairy to begin with, but especially this baby wants full on whole milk. Like I'll drink glasses of milk, which I can't remember the last time I did that. Yeah.
Wow. Did you like whole milk before?
I liked whole milk as a child, but you know, now I much prefer water. Water to me feels more refreshing. You know, sometimes whole milk just feels like a lot.
It's heavy.
It's heavy.
But when you have like a big sugary bowl of cereal, nothing is better than dousing that. And
that is also true.
Whole milk.
And I think
dairy.
The biggest thing is dairy and temperatures. So really specifically, I like to have right now very ice cold things. Just everything needs to be cold.
Yeah, well, it's hot as hell in California right now too. So it's like,
yes, it is.
Just want to be comfortable.
And I do feel like a furnace. When they say bun in the oven, they're not kidding. I feel like my entire core is a full oven and it's at 500 degrees at all times. It's so hot.
So what temperature is your place at? Like, what is the temperature you crave?
Oh, I mean, I like to keep the place at about 72. At night, I like it colder. I open the windows because we do get a nice breeze that comes in NorCal. So sometimes it gets down to 68. And it feels
68, Claire. Oh my God.
She's running hot.
Freezing. I feel like I'm freezing everyone out when I keep it at 78. I never go below 78.
78?
Is that warm?
Yes.
I feel like I'm freezing.
I'm sweating just thinking about 78.
Now that Jet is in his crib, he actually wakes up when the air conditioning kicks in. And he scrunches his body up. And I'm like, oh my God, he's cold. Because he like sits with his like butt up in the air when he's sleeping and the AC comes on. So now overnight, sometimes it's like 79, 80.
Wow. Okay. You like it warm.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. You're living in the right place.
It's not that I like it warm. It's just, I don't know. I guess if I'm too hot, I can't sleep. If I'm too cold, I can't sleep. And now I have to consider Jetson. And if he gets too cold, then he will wake up. And I'm like, I would rather put the fan right on my face than to deal with him waking up every 2 minutes at this point.
You cherish him sleeping whatever amount he will.
It's so crazy how your
doing?
life... You know, I'm doing good, and I'm feeling like this conversation about the air conditioner temperature just kind of like shows me how much your life changes once you bring a baby into the world, and how like once you get to a point where you're like, okay, the baby's here, they're healthy, thank God, or whatever we're going through with the baby, you know, we're getting through it. And then you look up and you're like, oh shit, what about me? What am I doing with myself? What is going on? Because it's so easy to lose yourself when you become a mom, when you become a parent. But it's so important, you know, to check in with yourself too as much as you can, because a point comes where the child isn't as dependent on you and you got to have something for yourself. And I think I'm kind of at that stage right now where I'm like, how do I move forward? How do me and my husband, we always say there's no going back, you know? So I don't like to say, how do I get back to what I was before? But how do I move forward into this new life that I have as a parent, not just of my infant, but of my niece and nephew who are 6 and 8, and my niece is basically 38, so
Oh my
it's just like,
gosh.
how do you keep going when so many things have changed suddenly? And I feel like, we go through that a lot in life. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
having a baby that we feel that sort of pressure, but having a baby certainly is going to be one of those times in our life that we have to just figure out what we're doing next, who we are. And, I have to say, I don't have an answer for you guys when it comes to this because
You don't
I'm
have
still
all of the
trying to figure it out
answers,
myself.
Ashley. That's what
I
we're here
have
for.
I have no answers at all. I think
Mm.
right now I'm in this place where I'm trying to figure out what brings me joy,
Hmm.
what do I enjoy doing? Because there's so many new challenges. And honestly, the challenges you had before bring the baby into the world, they're still there.
Oh
But
yeah.
the priorities are different. So something that maybe was a
Mm.
big deal to you before simply isn't anymore. I
Mm.
was just talking to my husband about this, and I feel like I get into this habit of sparing people's feelings, and in doing so I end up taking on a lot of heaviness on myself because I don't want to
Mm.
say what I'm really feeling because I don't want to hurt someone's feelings, and then that
Sure.
person's off skipping on the beach and holding hands and living it up, and I'm at home like, oh God, I really should have just, this is how
Been
I really felt,
honest.
and this is was what I should have said, and this is what I should have did. So now I'm kind of at this point
Yeah.
where I'm like, I have no capacity and no time for anyone else's bullshit. So it's like, if something happens, I'm just going to say how I feel about it, and I'm just going to move on from there. And I feel like that's kind of life now. It's just
Mm.
moving forward, knowing that I'm not going to get it right every time. I'm
No.
not always right. I don't always know what to do or how to do it. I don't know what the perfect parent is. I don't even know if that exists. But, everything that I'm doing, I know that I'm doing it at my best.
Mm.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you even get those feelings now when you're pregnant where you're just
Oh.
like, how do I keep this, how do I keep this train going?
Constantly, and I think that there's this real shift, especially when you get pregnant. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't partially terrified of because you always fear of like not being a good enough mom. But then be afraid of completely losing my own identity.
Mm-hmm.
You and I both are two very strong, independent women. We just are. And we've always
Mm-hmm.
had, goals for ourselves and
Yeah, that's how we
all sorts
roll.
of different, that's how we roll. We've always been really on top of things and wanting to achieve. We've been high achievers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think that it's kind of comes hand in hand. I think that achieving aspect is now being pregnant. It's like, I want to be the best possible mom I can be because I just
Mm-hmm.
want this child to have the best life that he can have. And,
Yeah.
there's so much pressure that goes with that. And I
So
feel
much
you and I
pressure.
both are a bit of people pleasers as well. So that also comes with
Mm-hmm.
like, all
Yeah.
of that. And yeah, I mean,
Something like
fears
switched
abound.
in me. Something switched in me
Mm,
where I'm like, I don't care about pleasing anyone. I got to take care of
good.
these kids. I got to
Yes.
make sure that my
Yeah.
home is good.
There's no
And anything
time.
else, yeah, absolutely no time for that. But I guess that's something that switched on in me. And there's going to be these like random light bulbs and switches that go on when you get through your labor and delivery and you're working through
Mm,
postpartum, which
hmm.
lingers. It's not something that you're like 2 weeks and I'm done with postpartum. It takes some
No.
time to really get back to yourself and to say, not even back to yourself, but to discover the new person that you've become. And I think if we
Yes.
stay positive about it, which is not always easy, and it's something that I have to actively work at to, stay
Mm,
positive about these things, because it's so easy to go
hmm.
down a negative road. And it's so hard to stay positive, right? But I think if
Sure.
we can stay positive through it, then we'll start to learn who we are again. And it'll actually become
Mm,
like this really cool adventure of like, what do I want to do now? How do I want
mm.
to work all these new elements into the life that I have? And one thing for me was sort of going through the goals that I've had for myself and finding a new plan to achieve them. I'm not going to let go of the
Mm,
things that I've always wanted to accomplish, which I imagine
sure.
can be something really easy to do when you become a parent. But for me,
Absolutely.
I'm very adamant about these are the things that I want to accomplish, and I'm going to do it. I'm still working towards my master's degree. I'll be done in a couple
That's
months.
right.
I had to put it on
Yay!
pause. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It was really a tough decision to put it on pause because I felt like I was quitting, that I had given up, that I wasn't good enough. It's like, no, I just need some damn
Mm-mm.
time. I got a human in here. He's got to
Uh-huh.
come out. I don't know what that's going to be like. And it was a doozy, as you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, I'm back at it. For me, health and fitness, because I want to be around as long as possible, and I want to be as healthy as possible for my children so that I can be as active in their lives as I possibly can. And of course, you
Mm-hmm.
never know what the universe is going to throw at you, but this is something that I can control, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
amazing at it. I work at it. And I have to pat myself on the back when I do good and not be so hard on myself when I devour a whole frozen pizza. It
Nothing wrong with
happens.
that either. Balance.
But, it's just not letting go of the things that you have set for yourself, because introducing a child into the world, you introduce them into your life. Your life doesn't become
Mm,
the child. At least that's the way
yeah.
that I'm trying to go about things right now.
What would you say is one thing that changed for you, just of your ideas for yourself, and how you dealt with that change? Because I think sometimes it can be hard for us to even allow ourselves to change our minds. And I feel like you have such a great
Yeah.
mindset about it.
Well, you know what? I had to totally work to get to this point, and it's so easy to say it, but to live it and get at it every day is a struggle
Mm-hmm.
for me. So I have days where I'm just like, ugh, you're not doing enough. You're not doing shit. You got
Mm,
to get it together. And I can get really hard on myself. But thankfully, I have a community of people around me, including my husband, my mother, my friends, family, and really a lot of the people that I connect with on social media through Geriatric Momma page that are very encouraging. Are like, girl, I've been there. I
mm,
know how you feel. Keep going. Move forward. But I think that when you have a kid, you just have to be more flexible, and
mm.
flexibility is not something that is very natural to me. I get in a routine. This is how things are done. This is how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a kids, it just don't work that way anymore. So I
No, it
think being
doesn't.
open to being able to adapt and to change is key. You have to just be open to it and a little bit more go with the flow, while having sort of these milestones that you still want to hit in life, and know that you can still do it. You just might have to find a different route to get to where you're going.
I love that. Absolutely. Yeah.
So I guess that's some advice I have on the topic.
It's great advice. It's great advice, and you're living proof of it. And you always inspire me, Ashley. And I'm so thankful for you, and I'm so thankful for you sharing your whole journey with us, because it's really nice to hear it from you firsthand. And
Oh
like
yeah, of
we've said before,
course.
it's everyone has a different one, but it's nice to hear the stories, and
Oh,
especially
for
from you
sure.
personally. I'm
And
biased, but
thanks, Bill. I really appreciate that. And that's really the whole
yeah.
point of this podcast. I don't know it all. I don't claim to know it all. I've learned so much
Mm-mm.
from talking to you and all the guests that we had on first season, and
Oh
then going
yeah.
through the experience myself, and then all the amazing women that I get to connect to and connect with on our social media,
Yeah.
that are just like, yeah, I went through the same thing. I know what you're talking
Mm.
about, or this is what I did, this is how I dealt with it. All those things matter. And that's why I really want to just continue to build this community. So if you know women who are going into pregnancy, are pregnant, or on the other side of it, make sure you send them over to us at our podcast on YouTube. Connect with us on Instagram, because this isn't about me and my story. This is about women and our stories, and how we can support
Mhm.
each other as we get through pregnancy and become moms, because we need each other. We need support.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know how you could possibly do it on your own. You know what? There are a lot of women out there that do it. And those are some
Ugh.
badass women. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But I'm sure if
Yes.
they had the choice to have a community, they would absolutely be a part of it. So that's what this is about. And I know we're wrapping up our season already, but I just wanted
went by
to
so
end.
fast.
Just like our pregnancies, right?
That's right.
But I just wanted to wrap up, just encouraging everyone, you know what? It's okay to move forward. You're not neglecting your children. You really be neglecting yourself by not showing yourself some grace, as we say a lot on our show, and tapping into what makes you happy and just going for it. Just jump in, just do it. You're not going to mess up. The only time we fail is when we don't try. And that's such a cliche, but it's true. It is so true. So take this new family dynamic you have and move it forward as one unit together. And what's going to be great is your kids are going to see that you're an achiever, that you set goals, that you're motivated, and they're going to pick up on those traits, and you're going to look back and you're going to see your kids achieving things. You're going to see them setting goals for themselves. And it's going to be behaviors that they learn from their badass mom because you kind of just grouped yourself together and said, I'm doing this. I made it. I pushed a human out, or a human was cut out of me, or however I acquired my baby, I did it. And now I'm moving on from all the craziness and holding on to all the amazing, cherishable moments of becoming a parent. So that's all I got. That is all I got.
I love it. Hey, you've given us a lot.
Thank you so much for going through this journey again with me, Claire. I'm so glad that we got to have a little peek into your journey as you become a mom. And when we come back season 3, we're both going to be, we're just going to have these babies.
The babies will be on the podcast.
We're going to have babies. Yeah. They'll basically just take over. We'll get them a little mic and a little chair and let them do what they got to do.
I love it. Yes.
Well, I love you so much. We're sending you good vibes for the rest of your pregnancy. Your labor and delivery is going to be like that, super quick, easy, epidurals all day. That's how we do it over here.
Yes, all day.
As soon as you get there, give me the epidural.
You better believe.
That's just wave it on over.
I'll be like, over.
But I love you, girl.
I love you. I love
you so much. I cannot wait to meet your little one and to hear your story on the other side of labor and delivery. And you're going to rock it. And the Geriatric Momma community is sending you all the good vibes and all the love.
I feel it, and I love you. Thank you for sharing your journey with us this season.
Oh, yeah, of course. And as always, to all of our geriatric mamas out there, all the mamas and their partners, take care of yourself, mind, body, and spirit, and we will see you season 3 of the Geriatric Momma. Bye.